नमस्कार. अंतरिक्ष अप एंड अवे तुमकां येवकार. आमचो हो प्रोग्राम आसा ब्रह्मांडाचो, अबाउट द युनिवर्स. पण ब्रह्मांडात सगळ्यात इम्पॉर्टंट जे आसा ते म्हज्या अर्थान तरी आमची पृथ्वी, प्लॅनेट अर्थ. आणि त्या अर्था बद्दल आमी कितले कमी जाणात. हालींच नेपाळात व्हडलो भूकंप येवन गेलो. खूबशे हानी जाली. खूपच थंय एक आकांत जालो नेपाळाचेर. आणि त्या वेळार म्हजे कानान पडले, हांव जेन्ना भोंवतालो तेन्ना म्हज्या कानान पडलें की नेपाळाक येदो व्हडलो भूकंप जाला, लोकांची पापां वाडल्या आनी अशें कितें कितें नाका आशिल्लें म्हजे मनान पडलें, म्हज्या कानान पडलें. हांव खूब विचार करपाक लागलो की वॉट आर वी थिंकींग. हे कितें विचार आमच्या मनान आसा. आमी आमची पृथ्वीच वळखनात की पापां बी ताका कनेक्शन कांय ना. इट इज अ नॅचरल प्रोसेस ऑफ द अर्थ जो भूकंप आसा. आनी आमी कितले कमी जाणात आमच्या प्लॅनेटा बद्दल. सो तेच खातीर आयचो आमचो स्पेशल एपिसोड आसा अर्थक्वेक्स. आनी अशें म्हणूंक शकता की इट इज स्पेशली डेडिकेटेड टू द पीपल ऑफ नेपाल. आनी ह्या प्रोग्रामान एक तज्ञ, जिओलॉजीचे तज्ञ आयिल्ले आसात, एक्सपर्ट आयिल्ले आसात. येवकार करूया आमच्या प्रोग्रामात. डॉक्टर मनोज इब्रामपूरकर.
नमस्कार.
डॉक्टर मनोज इब्रामपूरकर डेम्पे कॉलेज ऑफ आर्ट्स एंड सायन्स मिरामार हांगा जिओलॉजी डिपार्टमेंटचे एसिस्टंट प्रोफेसर. आज मनोज बाब आमकां अर्थक्वेका बद्दल, तांचे मिसकन्सेप्शन्स आनी खुबशें कितें आसा आमच्या पृथ्वी बद्दल जें आमकां खबर आसपा जाय, थोडो आमचे उजवाड घालतले आनी आमकां मातशें गायड करतले. तो मनोज सर, वेलकम टू द प्रोग्राम.
थँक्यू.
खुबशें आमी वाचतात. वी रीड अ लॉट अबाउट अर्थक्वेक्स, बट सायंटिफिकली वॉट इज एन अर्थक्वेक?
भूकंप, भू म्हटल्यार भूमी, कंप म्हटल्यार वायब्रेशन्स. जेन्ना भूमी वायब्रेट जाता तेका आमी भूकंप म्हणटा साद्या शब्दान. टेक्निकली सांगपाचें जाल्यार vibrations induced in the Earth's crust due to sudden release of seismic energy, which was stored in the rocks for a long time, are earthquakes. So when this energy is suddenly released, seismic waves are thrown out from that point.
अशी लहरां येतात.
जशें आमी एका शांत उदकान जर एक फातर उडयलो,
जशे
वेव्स भायर सरता, एक्झॅक्टली तशेंच वेव्स इन ऑल डायरेक्शन्स दे propagate in all the directions. आणि तेन्ना भूमीचो जो वयलो लेयर आसा तो हालता. तेका आमी भूकंप म्हणटा.
सिंपल. एक्झॅक्टली जाता कितें तें तुमी सांगलें, पूण कशें जाता? वॉट इज द एक्सप्लेनेशन बिहायंड इट?
कितें जाता, समजा आमी एक फातर घेतलो व्हडलो आनी तेका जर स्ट्रेस एप्लाय केलो, प्रेशर एप्लाय केलो, तो फातर रोखडोच फुटना. तेका एक इलास्टिसिटी आसता. सो दॅट स्ट्रेस दॅट हॅड बीन एप्लायड तो बिल्ड जाता त्या फातरान. सो ओवर अ पिरियड ऑफ टायम. बट एक टायम येता की तो दॅट रॉक कॅनॉट सस्टेन दॅट स्ट्रेस, सो इट ब्रेक्स. सो जेन्ना तो फातर ब्रेक जाता सडनली, दॅट इज वॉट इज अर्थक्वेक. सो ती एनर्जी जी स्टोर जाल्ली आसता ती सडनली भायर सरता आनी तेन्ना तो फूल फातर सडनली असो हालता आनी दॅट इज अर्थक्वेक. द टॉप सर्फेस moves. That is what.
This is in simple. आता दोतोर, अर्थक्वेक्स हे सायन्सात, जिओग्राफीत, जिओलॉजीत जो तुमचो सब्जेक्ट आसा, इज अ एंटायर सायन्स इन इटसेल्फ. सिझमॉलॉजी ताका म्हणटात. सो हाजे म्हणजे वॉट आर द डिफरंट पॅरामिटर्स? अर्थक्वेक कशे असतात, ते कशे स्टडी करतात, ताजे बद्दल थोडे आमकां एडिशनल इन्फॉर्मेशन शेअर करात.
हांगा एक पिक्चर आमी दाखयला हांगा. तातूंत एक अशी लायन दाखयला फातरांच्या मदीं. नाव दिस इज वेअर द रॉक हॅज बीन ब्रोकन. And this is the point where that energy which was stored from where it has been released.
Focus.
So, हाका आमी hypocenter किंवा focus म्हणटा. So this is the main point where the earthquakes happened. Now we may be exactly above this on the surface of the earth. This is the surface of the earth. So ह्या पॉइंटाक आमी epicenter म्हणटा. Now most of the time exactly point जो वयर आसता थंय maximum damage जाता.
Seismic activity is concentrated along fault lines, areas of fracture in the Earth's crust, generally near ridges or tectonic plate boundaries. These huge plates are constantly in motion, and when they collide, one is pushed slowly beneath the other. The resulting friction creates energy along the fault lines, which eventually becomes so unstable they rupture, sending out a shockwave. This energy release is felt as an earthquake. After the initial jolt, aftershocks can be felt as neighbouring plates readjust into place. Most underground movement goes unnoticed by human beings, but occasionally a big tremor strikes.
फॉल्ट लाईन म्हणून हांवें खुबदां पेपरान वाचलां. वॉट एक्झॅक्टली इज अ फॉल्ट
Now
लाईन?
this is where the fracture, this is the fracture in the rock basically.
Okay.
So fracture jenna there is a movement along that fracture, that plane is called as a fault.
ओके, म्हणजे दिस इज वन पीस ऑफ द अर्थ अँड दिस इज
And this is
अनदर
another
पीस.
fault. Correct.
ओके.
So this is where the actual movement takes
Slide
place.
जाता.
Slide जाता. आणि त्या मोमेंटाच्या टायमार सडनली असे वायब्रेशन जाता आणि इट सेटल्स डावन अगेन.
ओके, फायन. आणि दुसरें म्हणजे दोतोर मॅग्निट्यूड ऑफ अन अर्थक्वेक.
हय.
मॅग्निट्यूड म्हणजे कितें सायज ऑर
Magnitude
What
is a way of measuring the seismic energy that has been released from the
Okay.
Earthquake.
Okay.
Now, it is a scale basically, but it is not a linear scale. ताका आमी logarithmic scale म्हणटा.
Okay.
जसे आमी 5 सेंटीमीटर आणि 6 सेंटीमीटर याच्यातलो डिफरन्स फक्त 1 सेंटीमीटर आसा.
बरोबर.
पण 5 मॅग्निट्यूडाचो अर्थक्वेक आणि 6 मॅग्निट्यूडाचो अर्थक्वेक याच्यातलो डिफरन्स नॉट 1 मॅग्निट्यूड बट इट इज 10 मॅग्निट्यूड. सो इट इज 10 टाइम्स स्ट्रॉंगर दॅन
multiply
द
जाता तो.
प्रिवियस.
Multiply जाता.
सो तशा त्याच प्रमाणे 7
हय.
magnitude is 100 times stronger than
6.
magnitude 5.
5.
5, 6 and 7. So 6 is 10 times and 7 is 100 times stronger than 5.
Okay,
So it goes on multiplying.
Okay, so Nepal was something 7.
7.8 it was. So it was quite strong.
Okay.
Normally below 5 जे असतात ते आम्ही we don't feel it. Human beings don't feel it. It's a instrument like this. Seismograph can easily detect it.
What exactly is a seismograph, Doctor?
Now, seismograph is an equipment which is used to measure
Study,
earthquakes.
the scale of the earthquake.
Scale of the earthquake.
Okay.
So it basically vibrates, and there is something which point which is hanging,
Okay.
which moves. So त्याची जितले एम्प्लिट्यूड असता त्याच्या प्रमाणे द मॅग्निट्यूड इज मेजर्ड.
आणि तुम्ही सांगितले ते स्केल आसा ताका कितें म्हणटात दोतोर?
तेका रिचेस्ट स्केल म्हणून
Richest
रिचेस्ट स्केल म्हणटा. नॉर्मली बिलो 5 आम्ही फील करना, बट अबाव 5 वी डेफिनेटली फील. Between 5 to 6 there is not much damage, but above 6 there is definitely damage, and above 7 there is a very large damage, or disaster what we call. So as intensity increases, more and more damage takes place.
Earthquakes are measured by their magnitude and intensity. The Richter scale, the most famous indicator, rates magnitude. In other words, the energy released during an earthquake. In theory, there's no limit to the scale, but in reality, no earthquake has measured more than the 9.5 recorded in Chile in 1960. Meanwhile, the European macroseismic scale rates intensity, in other words, possible consequences. There are 12 different levels. 1 indicates the earthquake cannot be felt, while 12 indicates a total change in landscape. In the latter case, the scale acts as a warning against other natural phenomena, such as landslides, avalanches, or tsunamis, which could be triggered. Each year, some 100,000 earthquakes are recorded across the world.
So far that we have measured, equipment has measured is I think somewhere around 9.3.
Okay.
There is no limit to it where it can go.
Okay.
But so far that is what we have measured is 9.3, and where it can go nobody can imagine.
No, it is dependent, nahi, Doctor. It is dependent on something, the plates of the earth and all that.
Hi. So if we want to understand the actual movements of the earth, we have to understand little bit about the interior of the earth.
Okay.
अर्थाचो जो टॉप लेयर आसा, एक 100 किलोमिटर्स लेयर, ताका आमी लिथोस्फियर म्हणटा, विच इज हार्ड एंड कॉम्पॅक्ट लेयर. त्याच्या सकयल जो लेयर आसा तो मातसो वीक लेयर, डक्टाइल, विस्कस लेयर, जो मूव इजिली,
Okay.
विच इज कॉल्ड एज एस्थेनोस्फियर.
Asthenosphere.
Asthenosphere.
Okay.
Now this asthenosphere, there is a movement of the material which are called as convection currents. And because of this lower movement in the asthenosphere, the top layer which is called as lithosphere is broken into pieces.
Pieces. Okay.
So there are about 6 7 major pieces of the earth and 6 or 7 smaller pieces.
म्हणजे earth is like a puzzle.
Is like a puzzle, jigsaw puzzle कशें म्हणटा आमी फिट करपाक शकता एक्चुअली तेका.
Okay.
आणि I think Indian and Australian plate is one plate. हांगा दाखयला African plate आसा, Eurasian plate आसा, South American plate आसा, North American plate आसा, Pacific plate आसा. These are all called as plates.
सगळे एकामेकांक फिट करून earth
जाल्लो आसा.
But earth is not one piece.
It's not one piece. The outermost cover layer is not one piece. It is broken into pieces. It is a continuous process.
The earth is trying to settle down.
Settle down, exactly. It is trying to come to an equilibrium.
Okay.
So movement जाता, जेन्ना हे movement जाता ते जेन्ना the lithosphere is not moving, it is building up that stress. And then sudden there is movement. That sudden movement is what is earthquake.
आमी न्ही दोतोर अर्थक्वेका बद्दल जेन्ना शिकतात इन स्कूल एंड ऑल, अर्थक्वेक्स आर नेसेसरी एंड एट वन टायम दे हॅव मेड द प्लॅनेट अर्थ. तांणी प्लॅनेट अर्थाक जो आतां प्रेझंट स्ट्रक्चर आसा तो आमच्या अर्थक्वेक्सान ताका दिला. सो इट इज नॉट अ टोटली डेंजरस थिंग, इट इज ऑल्सो अ फॉर्मेटिव्ह स्टेज ऑफ द प्लॅनेट अर्थ. सो कितें म्हणू शकता?
येस,
आमची हानी जाता म्हणून आमी-
it plays an important role in the shaping and sizing whatever shape Earth has today. It plays an important role there because these plates, as I told you, Earth. These plates are continuously in motion. They have been in motion since millions of years.
फॉर्मेशन
आयज जो आमची पृथ्वी आसा, आमचे कॉन्टिनेंट्स आसात ते पयलीं तशेंच थंय आसले अशें ना.
ते वेगळ्याच शेपान
एक्झॅक्टली, ताका कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट म्हणून एक पयली थियरी असली. नाव इट इज मोर मॉडिफायड अँड कॉल्ड एज प्लेट टेक्टॉनिक्स थियरी.
ओके.
So all these continents that we have together in past some 300 million years back, they were together.
एकूच लँड आशिल्लो.
एकूच लँड आशिल्लो आनी ताका आमी पेंजिया म्हणटाले. Then slowly about 200 million years back, this Pangaea broke into two
so
pieces.
It started moving.
Exactly, they started moving and broke into two pieces.
Okay.
One was called Laurasia. This top part was called Laurasia, where North America, Europe, China, they were together.
Russia bhi hai side in
Exactly, Russia and all. And the lower part, which is called as Gondwana land.
Gondwana land.
इंडियेंतल्यान हे नाव येयल्लेलें आसा. एक्चुअली गोंड म्हणून आमच्या मध्य प्रदेशान एक ट्रायब्स आसा, ताचे कडल्यान नाव ताका पडलेलें आसा. So all this South America, Africa, India, Antarctica, they were all together and it was called as Gondwana land. Spread zalo.
Okay.
So this breaking continued further, and now somewhere few 60-70 years back, million years back, we were separate from even Africa and Madagascar.
Okay.
We had separated out, and then this moved further northwards, and ते येवन हांगा Tibetaक
India हांगा settle जाली
हांगा. Actually, it is colliding against this Eurasian plate.
सो आफ्रिकेच्यान ह्या सायडीन मदगास्कराच्यान इंडिया आयली आणि हांगा डॅश जाली.
एक्चुअली इट इज एन एक्सिडेंट टाइप ऑफ थिंग.
इट्स अ एक्सिडेंट आणि बिकॉज ऑफ दॅट एक्सिडेंट आय थिंक आमकां हिमालय पर्वत मेळ्ळे.
एक्झॅक्टली. द इंडियन प्लेट जी आसा, इट हॅड इन बिटवीन इंडियन प्लेट अँड दॅट युरेशियन प्लेट देर वॉज a sea actually earlier, which is called as Tethys Sea.
Okay.
Now this the oceanic crust of the sea was heavier, so it went below the Eurasian plate. It went down actually, and now the main continent is actually in touching the Eurasian continent.
Okay.
Now because of this collision, whatever rocks were there inside, they have been folded. Fold जाले, तयार जाला, and the entire Himalaya so वयर भायर सरला.
म्हणजे एकमेकांक आपटले आणि अशे वयर सरले.
Exactly. Exactly.
So very interesting. Earthquakes formed the earth.
Exactly. Wherever we have mountains, wherever we have oceans, actually is a result of all this continental drift, because they have moved from one point to another point. They are meeting, either they are moving towards each other or they are moving away from each other.
अशे म्हणतात animals can detect earthquake. What is your opinion?
Animals, so far there is no conclusive evidence.
Scientific
evidence na ki animals can predict earthquake or they sense them before the earthquake.
Okay.
Yes, it is true that they have some senses which are stronger than us for touch or smell. They can sense vibrations. So it is possible that they can sense the vibrations in the earth
before us.
Yes. But not before the earthquake. Because vibrations happen only after the earthquake, not before the earthquake. So even if they have reacted, behaved differently, it is after the earthquake, not before the earthquake.
And which animals would be most like?
Those which move on the land, like serpents, snakes, or frogs, toads.
हे इंटरेस्टिंगशे पॉइंटार एक आमी ल्हानसो ब्रेक घेवया. एक विसव घेवन हांव रोखडो परत येता. आनी अर्थक्वेक्स आमी प्रेडिक्ट करूं शकता काय? इंडियेन आनी गोंयान कितें पॉसिबिलिटी आसा? हे मातसो फियरसम क्वेश्चन हांव दोतोराक विचारता. एक रोखडो ब्रेक घेवन परत येता.